Hi, welcome to 123stitch.com. Today I thought I would show you some of the tools that I consider essential for stitching. They're things that I use every single time I stitch and wouldn't start a project without them. They include a needle threader, a needle minder, the Snag Nab It, and the Star De-Tailor. Stay tuned and I'm going to show you exactly how to use each one and why I consider them essential. Before we get started though, please click on that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And everything I mentioned today will be listed as a link in the description below. My first must-have tool for cross stitch is a needle threader. I don't know about you, but the older I get, the smaller the eye of that needle becomes. I can do a size 24 needle most of the time, but any smaller, 26, 28 beading needle, I definitely need a needle threader. If you haven't used one before, there's several types available. I have just 4 here. This one's by Roxanne. This one is by Clover and it has a built-in cutter. This one is by the Gypsy Quilter. It's lighted and it has a cover. And then this pretty one is by My Big Toe Designs. It's got beads on it. What they all have in common is they have something to hold on to and they have a thin wire loop on the end that is probably impossible for you to see right now, but it's a thin wire that's looped. And the way you use this is you insert that loop into the eye of your needle. You take your thread, you put it in the loop, and then you pull it through. And just like that, your needle is threaded. So easy. I don't like to spend a lot of time threading my needles. I just want to stitch. So this is a must-have for me. The thin little wire on these, they don't last forever. They are going to break. So make sure you always have a backup on hand and you'll always be good to go. My next essential tool is a needle minder. Needle minders are basically 2 magnets. One goes on each side of your fabric and the purpose is to hold your needle in place. Every time you put your needle down, you put it on the needle minder. You always know where it's at. You don't lose it. You don't drop it on the floor. It's always in one spot. They come in all different shapes and sizes. You can, of course, use plain magnets, but it's kind of fun to collect the fancy ones too. These 2 are from My Big Toe Designs. Here's a skein of DMC floss from DMC. And then this Meowie Christmas is from Letty Stitch. Some people collect them. They're great to give as gifts. They're just a lot of fun. The other thing I use them for is to mark my place on the pattern. I always put my needle minder in the upper left-hand corner. You can put it anywhere you want. I choose the upper left-hand corner. That works well for me. And I put it in the same place all the time so I know where the top of my design is. When you first start a project and then you come back to it, sometimes it takes you a little while to figure out which way is the top. If I want my X's to all face the same direction, I need to know which way's up. It's especially important when you're doing a repeating design like this one. Comes in really handy. The next tool I want to show you is the Snag Nab It. Besides having a great name, this tool is really handy for a lot of things in cross stitch. It is a metal piece that almost looks like a needle. The half of it is smooth with a pointy tip. The other half has this serrated edge. The purpose of it is to pull thread from the front of the fabric to the back. It's actually designed to repair clothing like sweaters where the thread kind of pokes through to the front. Sometimes you can use this to pull it to the back side. Well, we can use it for that, for cross stitch too, as well as several other things. First, if I've got a thread that poked through to the front and I need to get rid of it, I use the pointy end, put it in the hole where the thread came up, pull it through, and then when I turn it over, I can see I've got a little loop there. I can just pull the thread back to the back side and it's out of the way now. The other thing you can use it for that I use a lot is to tighten up stitches. Here I was stitching along. I got way past that point when I discovered there was a knot on the back side causing this stitch to be super loose. So I'll put the pointy end down in the hole, pull it through, and it tightens my stitch up like magic. Now you can do it on a couple different sides, a couple different times if you want to tighten that up. You can see how nice and neat it makes your stitches. You can use it anywhere where your stitch looks a little wonky and doesn't quite fill the space. I find that it comes in really handy in a lot of circumstances. I also use it when I have to tear out stitches or frog stitches. I'll clip the first one and then I'll use this sturdy end to pull out the threads. I used to use my needle all the time, but that tends to split the threads, tends to bend or break the needle, so this works much better. And I don't have anything to demonstrate this last thing on though, but if you have linen that has a lot of slubs on it, you can use this to pull them to the back side. You know how they little threads stick up? Either it's not going to be covered, it's in an empty area, you don't like it, whatever reason, you can use this to pull that thread to the back side. Instead of aiming for a thread, you just aim for the slub, pull it through, and that serrated part pulls it to the back side. So it's a super handy tool to have all the time. They don't cost much, they're worth having. The last item, certainly not the least that I want to show you, is the Star De-Tailor. The Star De-Tailor looks like this. It's got a little star on one end. It's a thin looped wire on the other end. And the purpose of this tool is to help you when your thread's too short. I don't know about you, but I like to use my thread till the very end. So in this case, I got to the end, half a stitch is left, and my thread came out of the needle. It's too short to thread again, let alone turn the needle and weave under the ends on the back side. So I can use this tool. What I do is I put the pointy end where I want the thread to come up, right there. I kind of lay it over the thread and open that up, and then I use my needle to grab both of those strands of floss to pull them through the loop. And then when I pull the loop to the back side, it completes my stitch. Now on the back side, we still have to secure this thread. So what I do is you take this and weave it under some of your extra stitches. It slides right on through. And then you do the same thing. You get this looped area over your thread so you could pull it through. Let's get that in there. There we go. It's hard when it's such a little thread, but you pull it through and then it has secured your threads and you're done. So that comes in really handy as well. So now that I've shown you tools that I consider to be essential, what are some of yours? Let us know in the comments below. I love to hear from you. I read them all and answer them all. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to click on that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you again soon.